Glass skyscrapers slicing into the sky, cars that cost as much as a house, a constant current of power and money that sets the pace for an entire continent. This isn't London, it isn't New York, this is Sandton, Johannesburg's financial epicenter, and the richest square mile in all of Africa. Welcome to Complex Planet. Today, we're diving into the city built on gold, a metropolis of contrasts so extreme they almost defy logic. And to understand how this fortress of wealth works, we first need to see how it connects to the outside world. The gateway into this universe of opulence is the GO train, a high-speed train that glides at 160 kilometers per hour, carrying the elite straight from the international airport into this billionaire playground. But what makes Sandton so powerful? Who are the people controlling this monumental wealth? And what does this display of power hide in the shadows? Get ready, because we're about to explore not just luxury, but the secrets and paradoxes of the richest and most complex city in Africa. What you're about to see may reshape how you think about wealth and inequality. Welcome to Sandton. Less than 50 years ago, this area was little more than farmland and small plots. Today, it's a forest of glass and steel, home to the country's biggest banks, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the largest on the continent, and more than 10% of South Africa's listed companies. According to global wealth reports like Henley & Partners, Johannesburg is home to over $11,000 millionaires, and the overwhelming majority of them move through these streets. Wealth here isn't subtle. It's displayed like a trophy. Sandton is a complete ecosystem built for the ultra-rich. And speaking of them, some names stand out. The first is Nicky Oppenheimer. Heir to the De Beers diamond fortune, his family controlled the global diamond market for decades. Even after selling his stake in De Beers, his wealth, estimated at over $8 billion, still shapes the country's investment landscape. He represents old money, extracted straight from the depths of South African soil. Another major name is Johann Rupert, who presides over the Richemont Empire. Beyond Cartier, the Swiss conglomerate owns an arsenal of brands that define the very peak of luxury. The timeless elegance of Van Cleef and Arpels, the writing instruments and watchmaking of Montblanc, and the precision timepieces of Jaeger-LeCoultre, IWC Schaffhausen, and Panerai. Each of these brands has a gleaming storefront in Sandton's luxury malls, places like Sandton City and Diamond Walk. We also need to mention Patrice Motsepe. He represents a new era of black billionaires in post-apartheid South Africa. His fortune was built, ironically, in the very industry that gave birth to Johannesburg, mining. He founded African Rainbow Minerals and became one of the most influential men in the country. But where do these titans and the thousands of other millionaires actually live? Not in houses, in fortresses. Ultra-exclusive gated communities like Stein City, a development so large it has its own road system, hospitals, and schools. Inside, a mansion can easily cost 15 to 50 million rand. There's also Waterfall Equestrian Estate, where properties can exceed 100 million rand, the equivalent of nearly $6 million. From the top of the Leonardo, South Africa's tallest building, rising 234 meters, the city stretches as far as the eye can see. The opulence is undeniable, the progress is visible, the wealth is tangible. From up here, it looks like a perfect city, an engine of success that never stops growing. But that's only half the story. And to understand the other half, we have to ask the most important question. How was this wealth built? The answer isn't in the skyscrapers, it's in the deep, painful foundations of this city. In 1886, an Australian prospector named George Harrison stumbled onto an outcrop of rock containing gold. It was the discovery of the Witwatersrand Basin, the largest gold deposit ever known to humanity. Within a decade, an entire city exploded out of nowhere. People from all over the world poured in chasing fortune. But from day one, Johannesburg was a city built on division. The wealth pulled from the ground by black hands was funneled to benefit a white minority. That reality, present from the start, was turned into law in 1948 with the rise of the Apartheid regime, a brutal system of racial segregation that dictated where people could live, work, and even love. If you want to understand the depth of that scar, there's no better place than the Apartheid Museum. Strategically located between central Johannesburg and Soweto, in the Ormond area, the museum wasn't born from a government initiative. It came from a condition imposed on a consortium that won a license to build a casino in the city. Part of the profits had to be used to build a monument telling the story of apartheid's rise and fall. Visiting the museum isn't a casual tourist stop because it forces you to confront the system's brutality. The experience begins at the entrance, where tickets are arbitrarily labeled white or non-white, and you're forced through separate gates, an immediate, uncomfortable simulation of what everyday segregation felt like. The museum makes it clear how Johannesburg's geography was intentionally designed to separate. On one side, leafy, affluent suburbs reserved for whites. On the other, townships, planned municipalities, overcrowded and underserved, built for black residents. And the largest and most famous of them all is Soweto. The name is short for Southwestern Townships. For many people, the word instantly evokes images of poverty. But Soweto is far more complex than that. It's the cradle of South Africa's freedom struggle. It's home to the only street in the world where 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners once lived. Vilakazi Street, home to Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Soweto is a place of striking contrasts. Yes, official statistics still show unemployment rates that, in some areas, rise above 50%. Poverty is a visible reality. But reducing Soweto to that is to erase its true soul. Amid hardship, a vibrant ecosystem of micro-entrepreneurship thrives. On the streets, you'll find spaza shops, small family-run stores selling a bit of everything. The local barbecue culture, the braai, has become restaurants and legendary hangouts, like Sakumzi on Vilakazi Street, drawing tourists from around the world. Tourism itself has become a major economic engine, with dozens of guest houses, bed and breakfast, local tour guides, and craft markets. There's a growing scene of tech and fashion startups, young people using connectivity to build businesses that celebrate local culture and sell it to the world. Soweto pulses with a resilience that turns necessity into innovation. And this extreme divide between the Johannesburg of Sandton and the Johannesburg of Soweto creates a constant tension. It shapes every part of daily life, from the price of a coffee to the most basic decision of all, how to stay safe. So, how much does it cost to live in Johannesburg? The answer is, it depends on which Johannesburg you want to live in. You can get by on relatively little if you rely on public transport and shop at local markets. But if you're aiming for the protected, first-world lifestyle you see in Sandton, brace yourself, because you won't just be paying for a home or for food, you'll be paying for security. And when we say the city struggles with high crime rates, that's not an exaggeration. The official numbers paint a worrying picture. According to the quarterly reports of the South African Police Service, Gauteng Province, where Johannesburg is located, consistently sits at the top of the country's serious crime statistics. In a single quarter, there can be thousands of reported cases of carjackings, home robberies, and street muggings. These aren't just numbers, they're events that shape how people live. That reality has created a multi-billion-dollar private security industry. It's estimated that South Africa has more private security guards than police officers and soldiers combined. People live inside security bubbles. They leave gated communities, get into their cars, drive to guarded offices, or to shopping malls that are essentially fortresses of consumption. This creates a psychology of constant vigilance, checking the rearview mirror, avoiding stopping at traffic lights at night, knowing which areas to stay away from. For locals, it becomes second nature. For visitors, it can be unsettling. It's the daily price of living in a city defined by such violent extremes. Unbelievable wealth, a painful history that refuses to disappear, and a day-to-day reality of tension and watchfulness. With all of that in mind, what is the true portrait of Johannesburg today? Johannesburg is not an easy city to define. It refuses to fit neatly into a box. It is, at the same time, the engine of Africa's future and a living museum of the scars of its past. It's a city with astonishing resilience, one that has reinvented itself again and again, from a dusty mining camp to a global metropolis. The gold rush may be over, but the pursuit of a better life still drives this city forward. And maybe Johannesburg's true wealth is no longer the precious metal beneath its feet, but the unbreakable spirit of its people. People who live every day between gold and shadow, between the memory of division and the hope of unity. To understand Johannesburg is to understand that progress and inequality can, paradoxically, walk hand in hand. And perhaps the most important lesson the City of Gold teaches us is this: the true measure of a city isn't the height of its skyscrapers, but the distance between its citizens. Had you heard about Johannesburg's shocking paradox before? Leave a comment. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Every week there's a new video about the most beautiful and most contradictory places on the planet. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.